Okay, everybody, I'll let a few folks hop on here and then we'll get started. Let's see, where am I over here? Okay. Okay. Looks like we've got, we're getting close to 100 on, so that's good. A lot of times on Friday night I go out and help sports shoot some highlights, but I wasn't needed tonight, so I can actually do a Facebook Live with everybody. And there's nothing big going on right now, but there's been a lot of talk. I've been hearing from some people about, these big monster storms that are going to come. So I want to just kind of tell you what's actually going to happen and how much of it we can get into detail about now and how much we have to wait to get closer to. The bottom line is, and we've talked about this, that we were headed for a busy weather pattern. And it's definitely starting. We have 5 or 6 storm systems we could be looking at in the next couple of weeks. They won't all be the same. They won't all track in the same direction, but they're all going to be something that we've got to keep an eye on. Okay. So let's see here. Let me see what we got. Emily says we're getting some sleet in Odin. Yeah, we have a little weak system kind of going through tonight. Early on, that might bring a little bit of a light mix precip, but it's not anything big. It's kind of like the little warm-up act before the storm tomorrow, although the storm tomorrow is also not going to be a real big problem for us. But yeah, you're getting a little bit of that down in Odin, you said there. We got Denison, Illinois. Michael watching from over there. Let's see. Oh, thank you for wearing red today. My grandson was born with a heart condition. You're welcome, Rondi. I've got my, if you can see here, my red tie on. I've got that. Let's see. Sue from, let's see. Oh, we've got Sue Pittman from Monroe City. I was down your way a couple Fridays ago. Shot the South Knox and the Vincennes Lincoln game. Had a good time down there. So. We got somebody, Brenda, watching from Edwardsport. Good deal. So we're going to go over this now and kind of, a lot of things I want to show you. Some things I'm going to be kind of specific on the event coming up this one and early next week. After that, I'm just going to kind of give you some general ideas. So let's start now. Vincennes, we got you there. Spencer, Shoals, hello to everybody. Newton, Illinois. Let's see how many we got on now. Oh yeah, we're doing fine. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you, first of all, the Canadian model. I think it does a pretty good job handling our system coming in for the weekend. This is forecast for about 10 a.m. on Saturday. And it has, as you can see, there's a little band of the pink that would be mostly some light freezing rain. And this may graze some of our northern areas briefly on Saturday morning, but then watch what happens. That's about 10 a.m. on Saturday, and now this would be at about 4 p.m. on Saturday, and any of that goes north. Now, if you have any travel plans north of our immediate area, especially you get far northern Illinois, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, there could be some issues with some ice up there. But for us, it looks like it's mostly early, mostly light, mostly the northern areas, and then it just goes over to some rain. So that's around 4 p.m. on Saturday. This is at about midnight Saturday night, so it goes out pretty quick. We should be dry by Saturday night and then into the day on Sunday. I'm going to zoom in and be kind of specific on this one and show you where the Canadian model is showing the possibility of some sleet, and it is mostly just north of our immediate area, but there's a little area down in here. Can't rule out a little bit of a mix early. This would be where it's showing the possibility of some freezing rain through Saturday about midnight. And more so over towards Fort Wayne into northern Ohio. But again, we can't rule out some light glazing, possibly on some of the elevated surfaces, bridges, overpasses, northern areas, mostly early on Saturday. So if you have early morning plans, there's a chance of a little bit of that. But again, it shouldn't last long, shouldn't be anything major. And then we will go over to rain after that. So that's kind of a highlight on what that one looks like. Okay, make sure we got people coming up. Ann says, what's coming Tuesday? Have to be in Indianapolis. We're going to talk about that, Ann. The Tuesday system I don't think is as big as the Wednesday-Thursday one. So right now I don't think it's a real major problem. We got Justin from Mount Carmel, Crawfordsville, Indiana, Paul, and Jennifer in Sullivan. Okay, so the one coming up on Saturday, possible light little freezing event for a while, north areas. That shouldn't last long. Goes to rain. Over by Saturday night. Sunday looks okay. Okay, we're all through that. Now we're going to stick with the Canadian. Now this is on Tuesday, and Ann just asked about driving to Indy on Tuesday. I think this one's too aggressive on the Tuesday event. I'm going to show you the other models, but this shows at about 7 a.m. on Tuesday. and this would be at about 1 p.m. on Tuesday. It just has the light blue. It would be some light snow here, mixed south. Again, that would be Tuesday morning into the afternoon, and then this would be at about midnight Tuesday night, and it kicks it out of here. And I think this one's even a little bit aggressive on that. But I do think we have a shot of getting a little bit of some light snow on Tuesday, mostly early. Notice back west of here, we're getting new development in the southern plains. So again, this is about midnight Tuesday. This would be at about 4 p.m. on Wednesday. I think the Wednesday event is a little bigger, has a little deeper moisture, a little bit more cold to work with. So this would show some snow in this area at about 4 p.m. on Wednesday. This would show it at about 10 p.m. on Wednesday. Now you notice we got a second shade of blue in there. This would be a little higher intensity snowfall rates with some ice down in Kentucky and Tennessee. And again, this is about 10 p.m. on Wednesday, and then this would be at about 1 p.m. on Thursday. It kicks it out of here, actually develops a pretty big storm in the northeast. And I'm going to talk about the northeast in a minute because I think they're going to get buried by a lot of snow in the next 2 weeks. So there was the Canadian idea, and again, I think the Wednesday system is the bigger system between the Tuesday and the Wednesday storm systems. This is the Canadian now, and I want to show you how busy this pattern is going to be. Okay, so we kicked that Tuesday one out, Wednesday, Thursday went out. Now we're looking at a week from this weekend. So this would be about the 15th and the 16th, and this could be an interesting storm, by the way. It's too far out to pin it down, but I'm going to show you why it could be an interesting storm. This would be about midnight next Saturday, a week from this Saturday. This is the Canadian, and it has us mostly rain, snow north of the area. And then this would be on Sunday morning the 16th. As it gets colder, we could transition over into a little bit of some snow. And the Canadian then shows a lot of cold that follows. These are temperature anomalies for the morning of the 17th. Behind that potentially bigger system on the 15th, 16th, showing the colder air moving in behind it. Okay, so you kind of get the idea. We got a lot going on, and we got a lot of things happening in the next week to 10 days. All right, what else we got here? Jesse, I need to go to Carmel, Indiana on Tuesday. Be okay, says Fritz. Fritz, at this point, I think Tuesday, probably so. I don't think it's a big deal on Tuesday. So at this point, I don't think I'd change any plans on that. Annapolis, Illinois, we got Myra watching. Freezing rain here in Newberry right now, says Jennifer. Yeah, there's a little light system coming through right now. The temperatures are, we're still pretty much mid-30s, so you may be getting a little bit of a light mix, but that shouldn't amount to too much and should move out fairly quick. Let's see. Marshall, Illinois, says Dale. And Heather says, I am so done with the mud. Yeah, I know. We've got some more storms, though. It's going to bring all kinds of precip to the area. Vermilion, Illinois, says Dean. Okay, so we went through the Canadian. Now let's go through the GFS, okay? This is Saturday, about 4 p.m., rain. Just rain here, not anything real big, but definitely rain here. Ice and snow north. This one I think does a little better job on the Tuesday one. Fritz was asking about that driving to Indy. This is about 4 a.m. on Tuesday. You got a little light snow moving in, and it would be mostly in the south. This would be Wednesday night. See the difference here? I think the Wednesday one is a definitely stronger system. The GFS is so strong with it, it pushes rain in a mix into our southern counties, just south of I-70, and snow north of that. Again, we can't fine-tune exactly, but the Wednesday one looks like the bigger system. And now this would be the weekend storm. And remember, I said this weekend, a week from this weekend, by the way, a week from this weekend, the 15th and 16th. That storm has the potential to be a pretty big storm system. The GFS has it pretty far south, so this could be a snow for us if this happens, but I'm going to show you some other models that say, well, not so quick. And then this is the GFS for about the 19th and 20th. It has another storm kind of suppressed south of here, so you kind of get the idea. We're looking at a pretty big, pretty active weather pattern. Okay, so let's go to the European now. This is the European for this Saturday, the 8th. Just some rain here. This is in the afternoon, by the way, so just some rain here. This is the European for Tuesday morning at about 10 a.m. Pretty far south suppressed. High pressure in Wisconsin would hold it pretty far south, but we may get a little bit of some snow, at least in our southern counties. The idea that the Tuesday one does not look like a big deal is pretty confident on that. But look at the difference. This is the European now for next Wednesday at about 7 p.m. This would be heavy snow northwest of here, ice and sleet across I-70, and rain south. So this is why it's going to be a tough call, and we can't get into detail on this one until we get into early next week. But definitely Wednesday looking like the bigger system compared to Tuesday. This would be at about midnight next Wednesday as the storm exits, starts to strengthen some, pulls some cold air in, and it would transition pretty much all of us over into some type of a winter precip by next Wednesday evening. And then I wanted to show you the difference now. Remember I said that a week from this weekend, the 15th and the 16th, could be a big storm? Well, now this is the European, which has the low pressure up near, say, Peoria, Illinois, Rockford, Illinois. If this is the case, it could literally pull thunderstorms up into this area and a big snowstorm across Wisconsin. So whether that low tracks across northern Illinois or Kentucky will make a world of a difference in what happens here. But the models are consistent in showing that we do think a storm system will follow what we get this week, this coming week, into that weekend of the 15th and the 16th. But where it goes, it's way too early to make a call on that. But look at this. This is the European model. That's the same storm. It has now moved it over into western New York. That'd be a week from Sunday morning, the 16th. That would be a monster. That would be blizzard conditions in southern Canada and in the Great Lakes, and a big ice storm in the Northeast. So we definitely we've got to watch that 15th and 16th time period, but it's way too early to make any calls on, exactly what it could mean for us or this area. We just got to watch that time period. This is still following with the European, and this is a different storm. To tell you how busy it is, this is around the 18th and 19th. This would be bad for us. This would be ice. So, but and again, I'm showing you these because I want you to see that we have a very busy pattern coming in the next 2 weeks. Again, that's the 18th and the 19th. This would be on about the 20th, a little clipper system, so we're not even done yet. I really think probably for the next 2 weeks, we could have anywhere from 5 to 7 different storm systems, not all big ones, that would swing down through this area. And this is the European along about the 21st, showing all that cold air just sliding right down out of Canada into this area. So after we get these storms coming through, they're going to open up the door, and we're going to see some of that cold pour down into this area. Okay, quick break, and I'm going to show you a couple more maps here. We have Sue from Sumner. Heather says, should be a good mushroom hunting season, though. Heather, I've always heard that when you get some good snow, one, it's a slow melt of the snow. It's not like a big rain and it floods off. So you add, good soil moisture. Plus, there's nitrogen content in the snow. So I've always heard if you have a pretty snowy winter, you could have a pretty good mushroom season. Let's see. Zachary says, we're getting big snow Tuesday and Wednesday. And then the second one, I just lost you on there, Zach. I think the Wednesday one's bigger. We're not sounding the alarm like it's a big, massive storm yet or anything like that. But I definitely think the Wednesday into Thursday storm is more significant than the Tuesday storm. And potentially the storm that follows the weekend of the 15th, 16th could also be a big deal somewhere in the Midwest or Ohio Valley. Greg's watching from Marshall. Let's see. Kansas City's going to get a lot of snow this week, says Zach. The storm systems this week they're going to be kind of like I-70 storms. The track is going to take where north of 70, really from Kansas City all the way through to Ohio, will be more likely to get more of the snow, and south of there more likely a mix and rain. But yeah, they're going to be kind of east-west storms kind of lined up along 70. What kind of temps on the 20th? I think, and that says Julie, I'm going to show you the maps on that, but it does look like some pretty cold weather is going to be possible around that time. Meredith says, thank you for keeping us appraised. You're quite welcome. Let's see. Sherry says, are we talking 2 to 3 inches of snow or 6 to 8 inches? I'll take the rain. Too early to make a call on the snow, depending on the track and if we mix any sleet in. The bottom line is I do think that the Wednesday one could be measurable snow and enough to cause some travel issues, but it's way too early to make a call on that. Okay, let me just show you some basic maps. These are easy to understand. These were issued by NOAA. 7 a.m. Saturday. Notice has the orange, by the way, for us would be maybe a little bit of some light freezing rain or sleet. And again, it's mostly our northern areas, mostly early. That's 7 a.m. Saturday. This is 1 p.m. Saturday. So again, anything that might be a mix early is gone. Then we're talking rain. This would be a 7 a.m. on Tuesday. And notice how we've got some rain south, a little bit of light snow to the north. Okay, this is 7 p.m. on Tuesday. But see the difference? This is 7 a.m. on Wednesday. And when you get the deeper blue, that's where the snow is more likely, would be more significant. And of course, that's moving northeast. So that'll kind of give you an idea of where we're going with our storm systems next week. And also from NOAA, this is the probability of melted snow and sleet of at least 1/4 of an inch. And this is on the Tuesday morning system. Notice it doesn't have very much here, but then this is for the Wednesday storm. And what you're looking at, there's a slightly higher probability melted of 2.5 inches or greater. If you use a 10-to-1 ratio, that would mean 2.5 inches of snow or more, and there's a little higher probability. So what I'm drilling home to you here is the Wednesday storm is a bigger system than the Tuesday one, it looks like, and better chances of seeing more accumulating snow out of that one. Okay, quick break. Let's see. Sounds like I need to head back to Arizona for the remainder of the winter, says Vicky. Yeah, I mean, and I'm going to show you a map coming up which gets us into early March, where I do not think this will be an early start to spring this year. I think the pattern is going to lock in for a while. Yeah, that's what Mike just said. March doesn't look any better either. No, at least not for the first part of March it does. And it has to do with this thing up in the stratosphere, which I'm going to talk about. And we hinted at this in some of the other videos that we've done. Gene says I have to travel to Indy Tuesday morning early. Do you think any problems traveling? Right now, Gene, I don't think Tuesday morning is a real big deal. If you were going over there on Thursday morning, maybe a bigger deal. So right now, I wouldn't change plans, but just keep checking back. Okay, how about the 13th? So the 13th would be that's what we're talking about with the system in the middle of next week, along about Wednesday, Thursday. That one we got to watch. I got to say that. Okay, what you're looking at here, and I've shown these before, this is the European model. It's ensemble, so it's got a lot of mesh, a lot of models blended together. It gives you a pretty good average. Anyway, wherever there's red, pretty much it's a guarantee. It's a 90 to 100% chance of seeing what I'm going to tell you about, and this is seeing at least 1 inch of snow in the next 2 weeks. Clearly, you can see the dividing line. It's an east-west line. There's going to be cold to the north, moisture to the south. These storms are going to travel along that zone, and they're going to put down snow pack after snowpack. So pretty much all of Indiana and Illinois and a lot of the northern half of the country is guaranteed pretty much at least 1 inch. Now let's go a little bit farther. Probability of at least 3 inches of snow in the next 2 weeks. We're still almost a guarantee in there. So the point is it's going to snow again. And notice how a lot of the northern half to 2/3 of the country is going to see some snow. Okay, so that's a probability for 3 inches. This is the probability for at least 1/2 foot, 6 inches. We're still kind of in that 40, maybe 50 percentile, which is still pretty high. Not a guarantee, but the odds are we're going to see some more snow, and it could be several inches in the next couple weeks. I do want to draw your attention to the northeast, like New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. They're almost guaranteed at least 6 inches or more in the next 2 weeks. And watch this, okay? That's 6 inches. This is the chance of 1 foot or more in the next 2 weeks. Pretty much, we don't have much of a chance here. But look at that in the Northeast. I mean, they're almost guaranteed New York, Vermont, Boston area of more than 1 foot of snow. I really think there's a lot of snow headed for the northeastern part of the country. Okay, so what we're going to do here is show you, and we're not going to go over numbers. I'm not going to zoom in close for numbers because they're going to vary. I want to show you the trend. This is the Canadian model in the next 10 days. So this would get us through the Tuesday morning event, the Wednesday, Thursday event, and the potential storm the weekend of the 15th and the 16th. Okay, so that'd get us through the next 3, because tomorrow's storm is going to be mostly rain. So you can see the snow. Pretty good chances of some snow here in this area from the Canadian. This is the GFS, and these are all going to be the same time period, through the 17th to get us through that weekend of the 15th, 16th. It has a little heavier band of snow across parts of this area. And again, we're not going to talk numbers. I'm just showing you. But notice the Northeast. I mean, all of these show a lot of snow in the Northeast. Look at that in the Northeast. This is the European. Again, next 10 days. You get the idea. A lot of that area, which we had painted in red, guaranteeing you some snow, going to get some snow. And this one I like to use because it's basically a blend. It's the national blend of models. When you see the national blend of models over the next 10 days showing that kind of snow in the Northeast, I mean, that's crazy. You're going to hear about this national news making snow in the Northeast. But it does show some decent snow here as well. The bottom line is we're not done. We've got more snow coming. We've got more winter. Winter has taken a little break, but it's not over. I'm going to take a quick break, answer a few questions, and then I'm going to go into the temperature outlook, and then we'll kind of wrap things up. Let's see. Kim says, I'm done with winter. Yeah, we got more of it coming, unfortunately. And Barbara says, I'm over this winter. It was the coldest January we'd had in 11 years. It was the 14th coldest January we've ever had. Didn't compare to the Januaries in the 1970s, but, you know, it had been a decade since we'd had a January as cold as the one that we had. So, you know, we had some pretty good winter weather coming in there. So Karen says, so Cloverdale is in for more snow. Yep. Everybody's in for more snow. I think our entire viewing area in the next 2 weeks is in for more snow. Can't say how much. You know, I'm going to take each of these day by day as we get closer, and you know I'll keep you up to date. But yeah, we're in for more snow, no doubt about that. Let's see. Nathan says, can you explain what makes more snow wet and heavy? Is what makes snow dry and fluffy? Is the temperatures that cause the wet snow or the dry snow to attract the storm? Says Nathan. Yeah. So what makes wet snow or dry snow? When we're forecasting snow, we use snow ratios, and computer models print this out in a you know, basically how much you're going to get, 1/10 of an inch, 2/10 of an inch. Let's say the computer model says 2/10 of an inch of snow. Normally, you would get a 10-to-1 ratio. So 2/10 of an inch melted down would be 2 inches of snow. Does that make sense? So it's a 10-to-1 ratio. You'd have 2/10 multiplied by 10 would be 2 inches. But what I do is I go up about 5,000 feet and I look at the temperature up there, because that's where the snow is being, you know, coming down, generating at. And if the temperatures are a lot colder up there, then you don't have to have as much moisture to make more snow. It's more of a fluffy snow. So we can have snow ratios that go down to maybe 6-to-1, average is 10-to-1, but in extreme Arctic outbreaks, I've seen those numbers 30 to 40-to-1. So you don't have to have a whole lot of moisture to make snow, if that kind of explained that. And you know, there's an old saying that says it's too cold to snow. Absolutely not. It's never too cold to snow. The colder it gets, though, the harder it is to produce much snow, but you know, you still can get snow. So Nathan, that kind of hopefully explains it. I look aloft about 5,000 feet up. We look at the temperatures there, the moisture content, and then what's the ratio we think we're going to get to kind of come up with those numbers. Let's see. David Run says, thank you, Jesse, for keeping track of the weather. You've got it. Amelia says, I'm done with cold, snowy weather. I'm ready for spring. Hallelujah. Me too. Lori says, are the temps going to be as cold as a couple weeks ago? That's a great question, Lori, and I've had some people ask that. And the answer is I don't think so. I'll explain that in a minute. I don't think quite as cold as what we had before. Lisa's absolutely love the snow. I know people hate it here, but it's better than ice. It is better than ice. That's for sure. Okay, so we've talked about this. We're going to get more snow. Simply put, we're going to get more snow. I'll keep you up to date as we see each of these storm systems. The Saturday one, no, but the ones next week, especially middle of the week, probably so. Okay, so let's talk about these temperatures that people have been asking about as well. So I've used these before, Arctic Oscillation, AO, on the GFS. I like to follow the green line because it is the mean, the average, but also on this one, watch the blue line. See how low that goes? When these go negative, it's usually cold in this part of the country. And look at that. And I want to show you this one. This is the NAO. I've talked about it. Generally, negative is cold. The control run, the one run of it, goes off the scale. Off the scale cold. And I looked that up. That's about the 17th and the 18th that it takes the one run way down below the scale. But notice, though, longer term, how the lines kind of get closer to the neutral. So we do think we'll come out of this cold, you know, towards the 22nd or 23rd. This is the European AO. And again, it's very negative for a long time. But notice down the road, you get down around the 22nd or so, we get closer to neutral. And then this is the European NAO, same idea, very negative, but trending upwards towards the latter part of the month. I want to show you a couple more things with temperatures, and then we'll get ready to wrap up. So I've explained this before. Basically what you're looking at here, I've gone way up basically into the stratosphere. So you're basically looking, imagine that's what we call the polar vortex. And the polar vortex is always there. When the winds are real strong circulating around the polar vortex, it traps the cold air and it stays there. When the winds weaken around the polar vortex can stretch, which is what you're looking at there. And by the way, that's this evening. That's the look this evening. It can stretch. It can sometimes separate, or it can, you know, move on one side of the pole, give or take. And wherever you see this polar vortex is where you generally have your colder air. So that's where we are right now. I want to show you this. This is forecast on the 13th. Now we have a split. What this means is some of the colder air is going to go on the other side of the pole. Some of it's coming down across Canada and the northern portion of the U.S. along about the 13th. I want to show you the next one. Now the polar vortex has kind of gotten back together, but it's still stretched, and the strongest part of it is right over southern Canada and the Great Lakes. This is forecast for about the 19th and 20th. So that's why that may be about the coldest time period for us, is when the polar vortex kind of gets closest to this area. Of course, we're talking way up in the atmosphere. That's on the 19th and 20th. Watch what happens. See that? That's the 22nd, 23rd. So we think the peak of this cold coming with this may be the 17th to the 20th, give or take, and then it will ease back some as that polar vortex kind of strengthens the winds and pulls the cold, lobe of air back to the north into this area. I want to show you one thing real quick here also, because I don't want to forget about our neighbors down to the south and also in the west. This is a precipitation forecast in the next 15 days. And those are very heavy rains. The storm track is going to be over this area and just south of here. Those are very heavy rains in Kentucky, Tennessee, northern portion of Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, in some cases over a foot of rain in the next 2 weeks. So that's also not good, and some of that's going to come in severe weather. So it's going to be very busy here, but it's also going to be very busy to the south as well. Okay, a couple more graphics on temps and I'm going to wrap up. Amelia says, thank you, you're quite welcome. And Karen says, so it become a serious hit or miss with snow and or severe cold. Yeah, so Karen, if the polar vortex would stretch out more and come down more into this area, we would have more extreme cold. I think the coldest of the outbreak will stay north of here, but we're going to be below normal. But I don't think we're talking extreme bitter cold in this type of an outbreak in this area, at least the way it looks to me right now. Let's see, is the ground temp going to be below freezing before the snow, says Kevin. It may be close, because the temperatures at night are going to be below, the temperatures in the day are going to be a little bit, so the ground temperatures are probably going to be close to freezing, but it'll be cold enough that, we could see some snow accumulate by the middle of next week. John says, watching from Aruba, headed home Tuesday. Well, nice there, I'm sure, compared to here. And welcome back to winter when you get back here next week, that's for sure. Let's see. And Charlotte says, thanks for the updates. You're quite welcome. Okay, a couple more things and we'll wrap up. I just want to show you temperature-wise. These are probability maps from NOAA. Basically what these maps show us is the probability of above normal or below normal temperatures. The dark blues in North Dakota doesn't mean it's going to be a lot colder there than anywhere else. It just means the probability is higher that it will be colder there, if that makes sense. So this is February 13 to 17, and you can see the battle zone is just south of here. That's why there'll be all that heavy rain in the south with above normal temps in the southeast. But by the 13th to the 17th, we go colder than normal. Now watch this and see how it expands southward now. This is the 15th to the 21st. Which was when I kind of think we'll peak with the colder here, and we shove some of the warm to the west. And then I talked about how this will probably last. Look at this. This came out today from NOAA, and this is a 2-week period. This would be basically about the last week of February and the first week of March. And we still think we're going to be running below normal in temperatures. Now remember, March temperatures are not as cold as, say, January temperatures, but below normal. So we don't think we're going to come out and see a real big warm up as we hit March, at least not the first part of March. It's probably going to stay cold for a while. Okay, let me summarize what we talked about and then we'll wrap things up. So the Saturday system, by the way, tonight there is a little bit of some light mix out there. That shouldn't be a big issue. Then tomorrow, Saturday, there may be a little brief period of some light freezing rain or sleet early. That shouldn't last long. And then it'll go to just some rain. So I don't think the Saturday thing is a big deal. Tuesday early system, it's mostly early. I think a little snow is possible. I don't think it's a real big deal. The Wednesday, Thursday system we do have to watch. It's a bigger storm. You saw the maps. I think there's a much better chance of accumulating snow. Too early to say how much, but we got to watch Wednesday, Thursday. More storms will follow. I really do think we have to watch the weekend of the 15-16 for another system as well. And the bottom line is you see there, very busy weather patterns. We're going to be busy here in the Weather Center, no doubt about that. So here's the forecast then. To get you through the next several days, Saturday, mostly just rain by the late morning, early afternoon. Sunday looks like a dry day. Monday looks fine. We're almost to 40. The Tuesday one's mostly early. I don't think it's a big deal. got to watch Wednesday and Thursday, and notice it does turn colder behind that. Temperatures will be down only in the 20s for highs, and overnight lows could be in the teens again, low teens maybe on Friday morning, and then that'll set the stage possibly for that next storm as we hit that next weekend of the 15th and the 16th. So hopefully that kind of explained. Basically, we got a busy weather pattern. We're going to keep you up to date. But the first two, the Saturday one and the Tuesday one, don't look like they're real big deals. But the middle of the week and the next weekend one, those potentially could be bigger systems, which could cause travel problems, and we'll have to watch those. Okay, let's see. I'll wrap up with a couple questions here. Paul said, ice scares me. Any ice coming with these? The Saturday morning would be minor. The Tuesday one would be light snow if we get anything. And beyond that point, we got to watch because, look at the temperature on Wednesday, 31. So, yeah, there's probably going to be some ice in some of these storms. So just, kind of stay weather aware, as I like to say, with each of these that comes in. Evelyn says, thanks. So the Cindy and Becky, thank you very much for you guys watching. Brenda says, thanks for the updates and these live updates. I like to do the live ones because you guys can kind of interact and we can kind of talk a little bit. And if you can, share these because in that way more people get to see them. If you ever happen to miss the live update, it's still on the website. You can go, my Facebook site. You can go watch it from there as well. Let's see. Karen says, thank you. You're welcome as well. Let's see. The Rose parents, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you guys for all the comments and just following along. So anyway, that's the scoop. Hope everybody has a good weekend. At least Super Bowl Sunday looks okay, and Monday looks pretty good as well. And I'll keep you up to date as we get into next week. And if need be, maybe do another Facebook Live, say Monday or Tuesday, to get us ready for that potentially a little bigger system on Wednesday. So thank you all for watching, and hope everybody has a good weekend. And I'll keep you up to date. I'll do some posts over the weekend here and there, but maybe we'll do another Facebook Live by the first part of next week.